the energy, like people's energy, like right now is it's very low. So I feel like getting those vibrations back up and that energy and that positivity, I think in any way we can, it's super important at this particular moment. And hopefully that stays, as soon as this passes, that stays, and we find this lightness that we've been seeking.
Hey everyone, I'm Manuel Betancourt, the film and TV editor at Remezcla, and we're going to chat with Karrie Martin, the star of Netflix's Gentefied. Hi, Karrie.
Hey y'all, how are you?
I'm good. I'm, trying to stay sane in these times. How about you? How are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I actually flew home to Louisiana to be with my family about a week and a half ago, like right before it got really crazy. So find a lot of comfort in being home.
That's good. And that was one of my questions. I'm curious, how have you been doing? Does being with family, was that really, really important? Is that why you sort of decided to sort of fly to Louisiana?
Yes. Well, part of it actually. So originally I was only supposed to be here a few days because my fiance and I were celebrating our engagement with our family. So I had flown home because I was like, this is the only time we have to do it. We have a lot of really busy schedules, excuse me. So I was like, great, this is a perfect weekend. And then it kind of got a little scary. So I was just like, I'd rather be stuck at home with my family than anywhere else at this moment. So it was kind of, I packed a few extra things, and then it was just like, wait, no, y'all really have to like stay. It became like an order, almost like a countrywide order now.
Yeah. And then, so that obviously must have changed your schedule and your sort of day to day. How have you found a new kind of rhythm or a new kind of sort of daily routine, especially being, surrounded by family now?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It's changed so much. The last like 2.5 months of my life have been so incredibly fast paced and basically scheduled for me. So, being home, being with my family, and focusing on planning my wedding, which is at the end of the year, has actually brought a lot of comfort and kept me really busy during this time. I actually was on like Instagram stories just a few days ago. I was just like, I know we all find comfort in like times of uncertainty in a lot of different ways, and definitely being at home with my like little group of crazies keeps me a little sane.
Yeah, that makes sense. What have you found has worked best, as a way of coping with sort of the uncertainty? Because I think, this is not going to end in the next couple of days.
Right.
What keeps you grounded knowing that, it's going to be maybe a couple more weeks, if not months?
Well, I think I've chosen a career where we there is just a lot of uncertainty in general in our day to day and project to project. So just coming into it with that knowledge um helps me know that this too will pass, like the next door will open when it needs to open. um but in regards to just how I'm doing and what I'm doing, right now, I have no excuse not to work out. I have no excuse not to go outside um, and just be active. I have two other sisters, and we're all very close. So we've, done like, spa days, like self care, just anything to keep us going. And then honestly, um, I do like a daily devotional to really just like stay sane and grounded, like in my faith and what's happening um, in the reality of this world right now, because it's really crazy, it's really scary, and there's like a lot of sadness to it, unfortunately, as well. So I've just kind of like been praying for peace and just for everybody else in the world who has found much more suffering, than I have in this.
Mm-hmm. And then, you talked a little bit about sort of going on live stream and sort of connecting with people. And I feel like we're at a point that social media makes it so easy to reach out to people. And I'm curious sort of how you juggle that, or like, are you on Twitter all the time? Are you on Instagram? Are you one of these people that needs to sort of take some time away? Does it help you? Does it nurture you?
Um, gosh, I'm terrible at Twitter. I'm much better at Instagram, and I fell into the TikTok hole recently. But it's been so fun. Like yesterday, one of my sisters and we spent like half an hour learning a TikTok dance. But it was fun just to like laugh and be in community with others. Because right now, like, what an incredible blessing to have social media and technology that people have been making jokes and memes, and just talking about during, back in the early 1900s during times of war and stuff like that. They're like, if they could do it, we can do it. And I'm like, whoa, we have so much more access than they do to communication. So I don't know. I've just been getting on Instagram anytime that, a devotional really hits me, and I'm just like, let me share this because it's going to hit, it's really going to touch somebody else. I share it on my stories. And I don't know. And then today, Con Todo Netflix put out my Brown Love podcast that I did with Jason Hanau, who plays Ruby, on my blog. And that was just really encouraging and exciting. And we were just kind of like going back and forth. And so like, then I got to celebrate like my Latinidad with my Honduran. It was just really like beautiful. So I think right now that we're just finding comfort in community in any way we can find it, truly.
Yeah. And then sort of one of the fascinating things for you is that, Netflix Gentefied just like came out a couple of weeks ago and people are sort of catching it now. Connecting with that community and that audience, I'm sure, has this time given you sort of a chance to sort of have that a little bit sink in rather than the scheduled sort of time that you were having before?
Yes. Yeah. One of my castmates actually said, she was just like, Karrie, you've been so chill about this whole like press process, this whole chaos that happens when a show comes out. And this definitely has given me a pause. And, America, I think it was just like a week or so, a few days after we had come back from press, she had told us, she was like, I think y'all should really, she's like, when you get the chance to, and now it's just like, I have no choice but to do that. But she was like, really sit down and like meditate over this experience that you've just had, because it's been so busy, it's been so chaotic, you've been bombarded by it in all the best ways. So I think right now I've just really, I think I've just sat more in my gratitude than ever before. Not only gratitude for what this show is doing for others and how proud, this is crazy. Like, I'm raised in Southern Louisiana where there's not many Latinos at all. So for this, my Honduran culture and those people to come out and be like, oh my gosh, you're Honduran. What? Like the excitement. I'm like, wow, I am so proud to be a representative of that. So to have that communication, again, that community with those individuals who I would have never known otherwise. And also just to realize like I'm healthy. I have a wonderful family. I have a wonderful network of people who keep me grounded in my life. There's kind of just nothing better right now. So in the midst of this uncertainty in this season that we're in, I feel like there's also been a lot of light. How people are just kind of like sitting in the stillness of it all and just finding gratitude in the little things. Because my brother the other day, he's like, I haven't been trying to hug y'all, I only hug mom. He's like, I can't wait to like hug y'all, even in our own house. We're like, okay, keep your distance, like elbow, because it's like six of us here right now. So and thankfully we haven't gone out. He does school, live streams it right now, and he's in high school. But it is one of those things. And I went to the store for the first time in like over a week and a half yesterday, and I was filled with so much sadness of how quiet the streets are. And I'm like, wow, the energy, like people's energy, like right now it's very low. So I feel like getting those vibrations back up and that energy and that positivity, I think in any way we can, it's super important at this particular moment. And hopefully that stays, as soon as this passes, that stays, and we find this lightness that we've been seeking, you know. This political climate kind of makes people So I feel like this lightness is weirdly been craved.
Yeah. Where do you find that light? Where is that light for you? What is it that you're clinging to that makes you sort of rise above that sadness that you were talking about?
Yeah, I feel like for me personally, I'm a Christian, so I really in my devotionals, in my faith, in like my Bible, there's there's a truth that I started to cling on to very early on in my movement to LA. I grew up Catholic, but then I went to LA. I went to a Christian church there, and I was like, there's so much chaos and uncertainty in this career, as I was saying earlier, that you have to cling on to something like a lifeline to realize like it's all going to be okay. There's a time and season for everything, and the doors that need to open in your life will open at their appropriate times. Like this show could not have been more perfect for me. I would have never imagined that this would be like my big break
Hmm.
in this career. So for something this incredible to have opened for me when it did, how it did, it's just its timing is everything. So for me, yeah, just my devotionals and just clinging on to that, that godly truth for me
Mhm.
personally. I know that's not it for everybody, but that's been very encouraging in my
Yeah,
family at least.
yeah. And I think this is sort of the point of these videos, right? Like we all cope differently, and there's not a right way to tackle this. There's not a wrong way. We're all just trying to sort of trying
Right.
to get through. Um, I also wanted to ask a little bit about your daily routine. Do you find that you found a rhythm, or do you find that you're still sort of in a I don't really know what every day looks like?
My gosh. Like after having like my days, my like hours scheduled, it's so weird. And I feel like any 9 to 5 job can relate. I am such a structured person in my general life that I thrive on a schedule. And right now, especially coming back, then not knowing if I can go back to LA or if I have to, that just like that, like back and forth. Um, it kind of puts me in like a weird limbo. So I definitely was in that. I think like last week I was like, what day is it? What's happening? Am I and the weekday? Is it the weekend yet? And then this week, actually start like yesterday, I was just like, get up and like start a routine again. Because I do thrive with that. So I was like, what can I schedule for myself? Things like that. So I think finding that structure is very helpful. Now, it wasn't easy to find it because this kind of happened so suddenly of, oh, Karrie, you're going to stay. And I was like, okay, great. Like, I'll stay with my family. That's fine. What a blessing that I have this opportunity to be back home with them. But it's definitely been like walking through mud a little bit, getting back into that rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, I work from home all the time, and everyone's like, "How are you coping?" And I'm like, "It's weird because it doesn't change anything, but the world around me has changed, so I
Right.
feel the same."
Right. I know. I find inspiration in my Instagram bloggers that work from home. I'm like, what do they do normally? And so, and they have a very, they're like, I'm trying to purposely do what I do all the time. If I have to get in the car and go to a drive-through to get coffee, go get that. Now I haven't done that. I'm trying to limit even that type of behavior right now because I'm like, this is fast spreading. It's kind of scary. So limit what you do in that sense too. But I've been watching a lot of movies, a lot of TV shows. Then One Day at a Time came out today, so we're just really trying to support all of our Latinos out there. So I'm really excited to get to support them, watch their shows. I haven't watched season 3 of On My Block yet. That's on my list next. I just had like a list of TV shows and movies that I've been kind of like meaning to get on. So right now that's huge. And I love to read. So I'm like, I have like a little mini library over there that I'm like, let me grab a book and actually have time to enjoy it, dissect it, analyze it, whatever I need to do. So that's kind of where I find my creativity
Hmm.
is in books and movies, and I don't know, they make me feel so whole, and that's what I hope to always portray in my characters, like have somebody feel whole because they just, had that experience or whatnot.
Mm-hmm. It's funny because I keep hearing that from actors being like, oh, we can't act, or like we can't be on set. So, but everyone seems to be turning in. We can like, I'll read a book, I'll watch something, so that it's about the impression of the world onto you, so that you can then.
Yeah, it's all about just like feeling it right here. I am such a Hallmark, like I'm so cheesy with Hallmark stuff, and I'm about to like this. I'm about to like give away like my biggest cheese right now. But there's this Hallmark series. It's called One Calls the Heart, and it's like based in like the early 1900s. Like like back in the Wild West kind of thing. Like they have like little saloons in towns, and Hallmark already is so wholesome in general. But just to like feel and just be like, oh God, I'm so inspired by like a moment in time or a story that they're telling that creates such simplicity. And I think watching that and them living such simple lives, I'm like, I just need to embrace that in what we're living right now.
Mm-hmm.
Create much out of the simplicity.
Yeah. And then, well, you're at home with your family, but I'm curious how you're also connecting with, your friends, with your colleagues, people that you would otherwise be, going out to eat or going to, seeing on every given day.
Yes, FaceTime. We have FaceTime dates. Like this is so funny that you asked that because we're as like my castmates. I don't know if you've like gotten to speak to any of the other ones, but we're so close. We're so close. It's ridiculous because everybody's like, what a weird, and yet like what an amazing thing that y'all were able to do this and have this experience when y'all did, because exactly how we are on set and what you see on screen is the exact beings that we are offset as well. The other day somebody said something, they were like, get on FaceTime, and then like one of us is in Miami, one's in Louisiana, three of them are in LA, so all of our time zones are different. And just like it always is, four of us were on, one of us wasn't on because they were still sleeping. And then they were like, I feel left out. So then like an hour later, we all had to get back on. But we just like laugh. And then a few days ago, we were like all on with Linda and Marvin, who are the creators of our show, and just laughing. And they were like, y'all are so funny. Like, we miss y'all. And I'm like, are y'all ready to get back to work yet? We're waiting for that season 2 announcement. So we just laugh. We all have a really good time, and we pick on each other just as our characters pick on each other.
That's good.
Which is the best.
Yeah, and I think like in terms of those support networks, right, like they're so important right now, so that we don't feel like we're going through this alone.
Right.
And I guess maybe we can finish talking a little bit about what are you most hopeful about when all of this is over? I feel like there is uncertainty, but I feel like there should always be something that we're either aiming towards or sort of looking forward to. So what is it that that you have on the horizon that sort of helps you guide yourself on the day-to-day basis?
I feel like if I'm talking about like my cast itself, if we're starting just my cast, I would say we just like get back on set and like just create even more beautiful work after having gone through this, like that we're just so full with something that after this, you know fingers crossed, we get the opportunity to be back together on set, and the work is just so much more full because of what we've experienced all together. Like, it wasn't just one person, it was everybody in the world had that experience. In general though, I find that there is a lot more, I'm going to use this word, I use this word a lot, but I feel like it's so pertinent to right now. There's a lot of gratitude in the world right now, in spite of the sadness from the lives that have been lost, those who are currently ill, the stress that is being seen by our service workers, like doctors and stuff like that. But there's also this sense of like this community is like, as a world, we're kind of coming together for the greater good. Because we had to, but what a great like problem to have right now. I feel like this is what we need. And sometimes, we're asked to see, we're made to see darkness before we see light, because there's a greater purpose behind that darkness. So right now I am just so full with like the blessings that are about to come upon like this world and people individually. I just have like so much faith that it's going to be 10 times better because of this experience. And I mean, maybe I'm just being like cheesy about it or something, but I don't know. I have this, but I mean, again, that's just me, like clinging on to my faith about it. But I just feel that the blessings are just going to be even better if we just continue to have this hope and bring light to the world in this very moment.
Mm-hmm. And sort of have that as a way to sort of help us move us forward. I feel like it would be just
Yes, yeah,
easy
just
to like fall into despair. Um,
no. Yeah, and I mean, and it's easy to trust me, because I can see the anxiety, I can see the uncertainty. Like, had you asked me this, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, when I was still striving to be where I am today and all this stuff, my anxiety, I would be in a different place mentally, I think. But I'm so grateful that I went through what I've gone through to now be here, to now be able to tell others, like, y'all, you don't even know, it's going to get better. Just keep pushing. You know what I mean? I was just having this conversation with my sister. She was just like, oh God, if like my 5 year ago self knew what I knew now. I was like, I know, but we all have to go through those moments to then find that light at the end. So I think that's kind of what the world is going through right now.
yeah. And I think like that's a great message to end on today. So thank you, Karrie, for joining us and for sharing all your
Thank
thoughts.
you. Thank you
And
so much for
I
having me.
no problem. And I'm looking forward to the season 2 of Netflix. Hopefully we'll be hearing about it soon, because I
Yes.
love to see what more stories you guys have in store to tell.
Thank you so much. It was so nice to be here with y'all for sure.